Hey, I haven't put out any content lately. I have been super duper preoccupied. Stay tuned. I'm going to share with you guys a little bit about what I'm preoccupied with. Things changed as of the last day of January. Yeah, things definitely changed, and I'll just share with you guys the critters I am still taking care of here on the homestead. We'll be right back. Hello, welcome back to Pine Meadows Hobby Farm. I'm your host, Jerry Hansen. I wanted to share with you guys a little bit about why I have scaled way back on my production of content for my channels. Primarily Pine Meadows Hobby Farm, and the other channel I do with my friend and neighbor, Southern Oregon Safaris, where the buffalo roam. Uh, Something happened the last day of January this year that changed my course significantly, and I just have to readjust and reevaluate everything. So what happened is, my I am a caregiver for my mother-in-law. She's 91 years old, and she lives with my wife and myself. And I take care of her. My wife takes care of her in the overnight, and I take care of her throughout the day. Which significant event happened on the last day of January? I am not going into detail about that, but it was to the point where my time that I normally would have to go out and do things has been compromised. So I can't do what I have been accustomed to doing. So I have to squeeze things in here and there throughout the day, because my shift with mom starts at 3 a.m. and it lasts till 3 p.m. Then my wife takes the shift from 3 p.m. to 3 a.m. And that's what we're doing. That's what we chose to do, because we feel that that is our obligation to our parent. And for us, it is the Christian thing to do, is to take care of our parents. I watched my mother-in-law a couple years ago. She was wasting away in a skilled nursing facility, and I emphasize she was wasting away. I decided, no, I'm not going to let her go this way, so I brought her home. I rehabbed her, got junk in her trunk, got her healthy, and yeah, she's getting old, and the age is starting to show. So as a caregiver, uh, it's really it has its advantages. It has its disadvantages. I'm not going to lie to you guys. It does have disadvantages, but we're making adjustments for it. So Becky, my wife, and I are going to make mom as comfortable as possible and have her with us as long as possible, and that's life. That's what we chose to do. That's just our choice. So dealing with that, something other really huge, significant milestone that happened for me personally the following day of that was January 31st is when everything changed there. And February 1st, another big, huge, giant milestone for me personally is I became full retirement age. Based on the year I was born, full retirement age for me in my generation is 66 years and 8 months. So I turned full retirement age, and now I'm no longer having to pay Social Security back for any income that I earn over the amount, but that they allot me. One thing I did find out is that royalties is one of those incomes that Social Security doesn't look at, and any revenue from any of the books I've written. Yes, I've written several books, and I've also contributed to some other authors in their books, and I've had authors write books about me, which is fascinating and interesting. But I don't earn revenue from those, but just the books I write. And then also my filmmaking, that's royalties from filmmaking. So I found out that Social Security, because I called them up and I asked them about royalties, and they go, no, they don't recognize royalties as an earned income. It's royalties. It falls under a different category. You still have to pay state and federal taxes on it, which I do, and make sure I have enough paid out to make sure all my taxes are covered. So if you're going to be starting a YouTube channel, make sure you have that covered. Otherwise, you're going to get yourself in a bind you wish you had never gotten yourself into. So take care, be wise. Yeah. So I got that, between the YouTube and Social Security, now that I'm full retirement age, I don't have to, because before, up until I was full retirement age, I could only make like 21,000 some hundred odd dollars over, in addition to the amount of Social Security I get. Any amount I earn over that cap, I have to pay half back. So basically, half my wages, my income, goes back to Social Security. And from what I understand, they reevaluate, because I got a letter from them. They reevaluate it in a couple of months since I'm full retirement age, and they make that adjustment to how much more earnings I've earned. So I'll get a raise in my Social Security retirement benefits, because when Mom passes away, we will lose that income. So my income goes down significantly. I'll lose a certain amount. Anyway, that won't count against me. So, but I will be able to live. Right now, I'm able to live on what I get right now on Social Security. It's tight, but we do it. And also, trying to come up with a master plan for the future, because like I said, the last day of January and the first day of February was a whole big change in our lives, and we're having to readjust. So I just took a step back, had to reevaluate, and this includes my time also, my time for farming. So I have livestock I've got to take care of. So in addition to taking care of Mom, I also take care of my farm and my gardening, because I can, from 3 o'clock on, I can go out and do my farming, which I have it down to a system. I can get out there and feed my livestock first thing in the morning, and I feed them at night, put them to bed, do my gardening. I'm getting ready to start seeds indoors. This is the middle of February, but we have that big greenhouse that we can start seeds in. And also take care of the livestock. Now, I want to go over the livestock we do have on the farm. Let's start with the smallest first. The smallest livestock. Yes, these little ladies. I have honeybees. They are considered livestock. As in our state, they're considered livestock. And honeybees require a certain level of care, not a whole lot, and it's not care that you have to do all the time. It's just sometimes. And then, so I get to glean honey from the honeybees, and they also pollinate my flowers and vegetables and fruit trees and stuff. So they're beneficial for the homestead garden. Plus, they feed me. I can get the honey. I can get other products from them, like propolis, bee pollen, royal jelly, wax, there's a whole kinds of products that honeybees do make for human consumption. Another livestock that I added, it's a little bit bigger than a honeybee. Yeah, bigger. Well, actually, it's like this. It's earthworms, vermiculture. And again, they're very easy, low care. I just take food scraps from the kitchen and feed it to them in their vermiculture container that I have in the greenhouse for them. And they in turn make worm castings and take that worm castings and feed the plants in the garden, and the garden flourishes. So that is beneficial as far as that goes. Now I can take those worm castings and put them in water with an aerator. I'm thinking about doing that and making a worm casting tea to a liquid gold is what they call it for fertilizing plants. Plants really love that stuff. And what the worms do is they break down all of the stuff you put in their bedding, and they turn it into micronutrients, like say bananas, banana peels, other things. Don't put eggshells in your garden. You got to. There's a different way of processing eggshells to break it down enough to where your plants can take it up. Because now consider this: the plant root goes down into the soil, and the plant root is what takes up those micronutrients. A plant root cannot munch on an eggshell. It has to be broken down into a micro component on which the plant can extract that. So that's what the worms do through their worm casting. They take that potassium and other stuff out of the bananas and proteins and other nutrition out of the vegetables and the fruits that you put in the soil that they eat, and they can turn it into a micronutrient that your plants can then take up, and your plants can thrive on that. So earthworms, another livestock that's relatively simple and easy to care for. They don't require a whole lot of hands-on, and they're great to go. When I go fishing, I can reach down and grab a handful of worms and go out, go do my favorite fishing hole. I'm not going to tell you where that is. I shared that with one person, and hopefully they're keeping it a secret. Next size animal up, I would say it would be, well, let's start with the birds. I have chickens. I have buff Orpington chickens. I'm down to 1 rooster and 4 hens. They're currently laying eggs, and I have the eggs in this incubator over here that I'm incubating more chicken eggs to get more chicks, and I also have duck eggs in there too, and that leads me to my ducks. I have Pekin ducks. They're the white ducks that were developed in China. Pekin ducks, they're giant. They really fill out the table. They're great for bartering with if it ever comes down to that. But they do make a good meal, a duck dinner. Then I have geese. These are American buff geese. These were bred specifically for the American homestead. They're very docile. They're very friendly. They don't chase you. There's some breed of geese that hate the world and everything in it that is. I don't want those geese on my homestead, but these geese, they're very friendly. I have 1 pair. They're getting, this is mid-February, so I would expect they start laying eggs here any day now. I know the ducks are already laying eggs. The chicken are already laying eggs, as you can see the evidence in the incubator. And then there's turkey. I have Naragansette turkey. Again, turkey is a bird that is primarily here in, well, was indigenous to this continent, to this region of the world. And there was a turkey called the Naragansette turkey that was bred for the American homestead. They're again very docile. They're very gentle creatures. And then I have 2 pair of turkeys. I have a tom, which is a mature breeding male. I have a hen, which is a mature breeding female. I have a jake, which is an immature breeding male, or immature male that hasn't bred yet, is a jake. And a Jenny is an immature female that hasn't had eggs yet. So that's how you classify the turkeys. And the group of them together is called a rafter. I have a rafter of turkeys. And of course, the wild turkeys, when they're running around, they're just called a flock of turkeys. The next bigger critter I have going up, I have New Zealand rabbit. They are the white rabbit, white fur with red eyes. They're for meat. I breed them, and then I sometimes sell the babies. They're delicious. The meat is delicious once I figured out how to process them, and Becky will cook them up, and oh, it's so good. Rabbit stew, so good. Anyway, and the other livestock I do have and take care of on the farm are goats. I have what they call Nubian goats, and the reason why I chose Nubian goats specifically was because of their milk. All around, all-purpose goat for the homestead, milk and meat, because they're large, they produce a lot of meat, and they produce a good quality of milk. I found that from my research, from deciding on which goats to produce for the farm, was Nubian, because their milk has the highest butterfat content, and that makes it easier to make butter with goat milk and other products with goat milk. You can make all kinds of products, soaps, face creams. You can make all kinds of products, plus consumable products for eating. Cheese, chèvre is what they call it. I've made a couple of different kinds of goat cheese in the past. It's really good. I have the milking machine for my goats and stuff. So it's that's what I do. I have billy goats and nanny goats. Yeah, to keep the goats in milk, you have to have a billy goat to get them pregnant. They have the babies. Then you wean the babies, and then you can continue milking them. And I milk mine for probably a year and a half, and then I'll let them dry up, and then we'll rebreed them, because I sell the babies to help offset the cost of feed that I feed the goats. So that's the livestock on the farm. Now, I did at one time raise pigs. These were the American guinea hog. Again, the American guinea hogs were bred for the American homestead back in the days of the pioneer. You can free range those pigs. They'll go out, and they don't root as the common pig does. They more forage. They'll eat twigs, branches, leaves, grass, acorns. So there's another name for those pigs, the acorn pig, because that's what they fatten up on. They don't necessarily go through and root in the ground and tear up the soil like other pig breeds do. They're furry, so they're acclimated to northern territories, which is perfect for our northern regions, especially here in the Cascade Ranges of the Pacific Northwest. So that's it. I just wanted to go over the livestock and that I'm continue raising here on the homestead, taking care of my mother-in-law, and dealing with life changes as I get older. Yeah, full retirement age, and yeah, making adjustments. Yeah, life has definitely taken a different role, a different chapter. I'm not as free as I used to be, just to go out and do things. No, I'm pretty much bound to the house now 24/7. Yeah, that's about what it is. Yeah. But that's not going to be permanent. That's only temporary. I'm Jerry Hansen, your host. This is Pine Meadows Hobby Farm, or a frugal homestead tucked high in the Cascade Ranges of the Pacific Northwest. Please stay tuned to more videos. You could do that by subscribing, clicking that bell icon that alerts you to new videos as I upload them. Hey, give us a thumbs up. Click that share button. Sharing my videos on your social media platforms helps us out. Remember, be safe. Always be kind. I'll see you guys in my next adventure. Bye-bye now.